What is going on, everybody? So some Jaguars news has been breaking this week, and really haven't had time to discuss it, so I am here now to discuss. So first of all, I do want to talk about Christian Kirk being out for the year with a collarbone injury. This one definitely stinks. Honestly, not even as much for the Jaguars' success. It's just because I was somebody that was potentially wanting to kind of trade away Christian Kirk at the trade deadline. You know, and it's not even about, because when you trade Cam Robinson away, that wasn't as important to me because he's an unrestricted free agent next year. So, you don't have to worry about him on the books in 2025. But Christian Kirk next year has the most dead cap hit of anybody on the Jaguars. So, unless the Jaguars can trade him in the offseason, he's going to be on the Jaguars next year because of that cap hit. And it would have been nice to kind of get him off the team. And it's not necessarily a Christian Kirk thing. It's more for me a Parker Washington thing. Because, I think Parker Washington looks to be a heck of a player. He's just very quick. He makes a lot of good plays and special teams and, even when he's on the field on offense. So, this is kind of what an NFL team is all about. When you have I would say Christian Kirk on this team is more of a complimentary player, especially with him kind of taking more of a backseat with Brian Thomas Jr. You want to be able to draft and replace. And, especially on day 3 of the NFL draft, when you're able to find a good player like Parker Washington, you like to be able to, replace him with, replace your more expensive guys. The Jaguars had to overpay for a guy like Christian Kirk just to get, maybe one of the top guys on the free agent list back in 2022. So with Christian Kirk being out, that one stinks because obviously now he has no trade value, and now we kind of have to put him into the equation next year. However, I am excited to see kind of what Parker Washington has to bring to this team going forward, because I know he's been getting a little bit more involved over the course of the past couple games. So, next up, Cam Robinson, Jaguars left tackle, got traded to the Minnesota Vikings. And this one is interesting because, first of all, talk about a long career on the Jaguars. Cam Robinson has been on the Jaguars since 2017, since the Jaguars run to the AFC Championship game. So, this is a little bit different than most trade deadline things where, the Jaguars get rid of a very, very long-time Jaguar. But, I was someone that, honestly, I would have kept him around had I not kind of heard of, he was just not really involved in the team at all, and he looked mentally checked out. And if you're checked out of this team, then you can get off this team, honestly. In an ideal situation, I would have liked to hold on to him, mainly because I don't want to get into a situation where Walker Little gets injured and all of a sudden you have your third left tackle in there, because I don't want. Offensive line is tricky because the worst thing that could happen to this team is Trevor Lawrence getting an injury, and all these NFL players out here, they're one injury away from ruining their entire NFL career. So, I would like to do anything you can to protect Trevor Lawrence. So there's that. And then there's also the idea of potentially getting a compensatory pick, because where this pick lands right now, it's a 6th round pick, and it could turn into a 5th round pick, and then it turn into a 4th round pick. And that's solely based off of playing time. And Cam Robinson is a guy that does not stay on the field very often. He's a guy that is very injury prone, and he's a guy that could very easily get hurt, and all of a sudden you only get a 6th round pick for him. And in that case, maybe the Jaguars, they got a 3rd round pick from Jawan Taylor for him signing to another team. What could they have gotten for Cam Robinson? I imagine Cam Robinson, would demand a pretty decent contract, because teams are always looking for offensive linemen, especially left tackles. So I really wonder, if you hung on to him, would it turn into a better draft pick? But he is mentally checked out. He's done. He doesn't want to be here. So, yeah, you're getting rid of a guy that, like I said, is mentally checked out. So there's that. What other moves can the Jaguars make at the trade deadline? ETN is a guy to look out for. They said he's supposed to be, healthy this coming Sunday. So that's got to look at. I imagine the Jaguars are going to be complete buyers. Definitely not, or the complete sellers, I should say. Definitely not buying unless they get a guy for really cheap that, maybe they like. But, yeah, the Jaguars will try to, trade some tradable guys. And, man, it sucks that we're in this position. It sucks that we're 2-6. But, situation that we're in another year. But hey, I will say, I feel like the Jaguars roster definitely is not bad. I feel like we're a tweak away from getting better. It just feels like a lot of coaching stuff right now. And I definitely think the Jaguars in 2025 can strike, especially because we have a franchise quarterback in Trevor Lawrence. You know, we have a wide receiver one in Brian Thomas Jr. We have two guys that can play at a high level on edge. And we have a lockdown cornerback in Tyson Campbell. So I do think that this team could be good. It just sucks that this year is a wash. And we'll just see how it all plays out. But thank you guys so much for watching. Go Jags.